breast milk is pretty amazing. Not only does it contain virtually all of the nutrients that your baby needs, but it's basically ready to drink with no preparation needed. Despite all its benefits, many women face a number of barriers to successful breastfeeding. One of these barriers is unnecessary dietary restrictions. Luckily, many of the foods new mums are told to avoid stem from old wives' tales, which are not backed by science. To help you cut through the clutter, I'm here to shed some light on the top 5 foods or drinks you should actually limit while breastfeeding. Hi, I'm Melanie McGrice and I'm a specialist fertility and prenatal dietitian. Not only do I help mums know what to eat during their pregnancy, but I also help them optimise their diet afterwards. Why don't you connect with me on my social media channels to stay up to date with tips to help you feel your best in this special time. Now, most mums will limit or avoid certain food while they're breastfeeding, some with good reason, others without. One of the most commonly avoided foods includes gassy foods like legumes, onion, garlic, and cruciferous veggies like broccoli and cauliflower. While some observational research shows that reducing these gas-causing foods can reduce fussiness in a breastfed infant, we're unsure why, and not all of the research is conclusive. While some research like this isn't clear-cut, other research is. And here are 5 foods or drinks to definitely limit when breastfeeding. Food number 1 is alcohol. Just like during pregnancy, you should also avoid alcohol when you're breastfeeding, especially in the first few months postpartum. Alcohol has the ability to pass into your breast milk, meaning that some of it will go to your baby. And not only does alcohol make your baby drowsy and less likely to feed, or if they do feed, they may not drain your breast properly, which may ultimately affect your supply. But your baby's brain is still developing in the first few months postpartum, and alcohol can have a negative effect on this development. Not drinking alcohol is the safest option for both you and your baby. Food number 2 is ultra-processed foods. Now, when you're tired and hungry, it's easy to be tempted to turn to ultra-processed foods such as chips, sweets, and chocolate. However, not only are these foods not good for you, but they're not good for your bubba either. Research shows that what we eat whilst breastfeeding can influence the food choices of your baby into the future, as it helps program their taste buds. So, although the occasional treat won't hurt, try to limit your intake to once or twice per week. Food number 3 is artificial sweeteners. Emerging research suggests that the consumption of high intakes of artificial sweeteners whilst breastfeeding may impact the learning and memory development of your baby. Because most artificial sweeteners are found in your breast milk after you consume it, there's also evidence to suggest that it may impact your baby's taste preferences and risks of metabolic conditions into the future. Whilst you needn't be scared of the occasional sweetener, it is wise to avoid large intakes of sugar-free foods, which are then often laden with artificial sweeteners. Food number 4, and that is fish high in mercury. Mercury, or more specifically methylmercury, occurs naturally in our environment, but can also be formed by human activities such as burning coal and oil. Some of this mercury makes its way into our lakes and oceans, where it contaminates the fish that live there. Larger predatory fish, such as shark, swordfish, tilefish, marlin, and king mackerel, accumulate the mercury from eating smaller fish, and because of their high mercury levels, should all be avoided during pregnancy and also when you're breastfeeding. Small amounts of mercury cross into the breast milk, and exposure to mercury can cause damage to your baby's brain and nervous system. And food number 5 is caffeine. Caffeine also crosses into your breast milk, and fussiness, jitteriness, and poor sleep patterns have been reported in mums with high caffeine intakes. Luckily, the amount of coffee that seems to give these negative effects is quite high, around 10 cups per day. In general, the current recommendation is to have less than 300 milligrams of caffeine each day when you're breastfeeding, which is around 3 cups of coffee. That being said, It also really depends on the age of your baby. Younger newborns and preterm babies seem to metabolize caffeine very slowly, and because of this, may have caffeine levels similar to those of the mama. So sticking to your pregnancy caffeine limit of less than 2 cups per day is a much wiser choice. So there you have it, my top 5 evidence-based foods and drinks to avoid when breastfeeding. Now, if you notice that your baby is more fussy when you eat certain foods, chat to your healthcare professional about it. And if you do need to limit or avoid that food, then make sure that you're replacing it with a nutritional equivalent to avoid nutrient deficiencies. And remember that in addition to this video and a whole bunch of other information-filled videos on my channel, I have a host of helpful information on my social media accounts. So feel free to connect with me there as well. I look forward to seeing you next time. We are recording? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were like recording. I thought you were going to go, yeah, go.
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.